Hello, everybody. I am Bruce Nix. I am your host for All About Agility podcast. I am the Director of Business Agility with VACO. And today I have a guest with me, Aubrey Wade, who is an Agile Coach, project management professional, and also startup business owner located here in Memphis, Tennessee. Aubrey loves coaching product design sessions and studying relational techniques in the workplace. Which goes well because currently she is an Agile coach and process professional for AutoZone here in their headquarters here in Memphis, Tennessee. Aubrey has helped convert 2 Fortune 300 organization technology departments to a more agile work environment and is an Enneagram facilitator, conference speaker, and coaches teams for continuous improvement and team health. Aubrey, thank you for joining us today. You and I have known each other for quite some time. And I appreciate you taking some time out and being a guest today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Bruce. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure seeing you. And so going back to the Enneagram facilitator, and that is a tough word for me to say as well, to make sure that I'm saying it correctly. And now the first time I was exposed to this was actually at Music City Agile in Nashville, Tennessee, where you actually gave a workshop on this. And I thought it was really fascinating, especially from a team dynamics perspective. So can you maybe tell our audience a little bit about what is Enneagram? I mean, what exactly is that?
So the Enneagram is, it has been around for centuries, but it is a tool that is used to really to do self-discovery. I like to use it for individuals or for teams, and use it to obviously learn more about yourself, but for teams that maybe have a little bit of conflict issues, or just maybe they're brand new and they need to learn how to work together. If they're especially a team that wants to learn how to work fast, quickly, that they just need to learn how to, learn each other better and learn, what each other's strengths are. So it is a wonderful tool that if you need to learn what your blinders are or where your blinders are, learn what your strengths and your weaknesses are and how to pull those weaknesses back and put those strengths forward.
Okay.
That this is a wonderful tool to enforce, or
So
not enforce, but to use.
Yeah. So when you start talking about some of the strengths and weaknesses, there's other assessments that do that as well, right? What are some of the areas that Enneagram can really help us improve?
So the Enneagram, it's one of the, Ennea means 9 in Latin. So, and gram would be diagram. So it's a circle. So everybody, no matter who you are or where you are, you fall into one of these 9 points on a circle. And the Enneagram is going to show you where you fall and how you relate to all the other 9 points. Everybody is going to fall into this circle. But what it's going to show you is, what your personality, it's not just your personality, but the strengths of your personality, of where it falls relationally, your strengths at work, your strengths in relationships, your weaknesses in all of these areas too. So, what should you watch out for? And those triggers, those things that, oh, this is my trigger, I need to hold this.
So it's really a multi-dimensional assessment.
Gosh, extremely multi-dimensional.
Okay.
So one of the great things about the workshops that I've been able to hone in on as I've just continue to iterate, and that's one of the great things about Agile, right? Is you iterate as you go, which
That's right.
I get so ADD whenever I do these things, because I tend to Agile, take my Agile brain, and I have to turn that off. And I'm doing Enneagram today. Is I'm iterating this as I go and making improvements to these handouts that I create, because I get people that, oh, my husband, my wife, and my kids, and it's like, yes, I've found a lot of information about, my, marriages and working with children and, things like that. As I improve these documents that I create, is that, you can take that, because it's like, it's drinking from a fire hose whenever you're going through this workshop. Because I've created, all day workshops and half day workshops and individual workshops, things like that. But I have these handouts that people can take, because it's just overwhelming, and they can take this and kind of digest it, because you're being exposed to yourself in a way that most people have never seen before, and it's a little scary, and you're just kind of like, and I tell people when we start, I'm like, look, everybody's going to see each other's ugly, like, let's just get ready for it, because it's a little daunting. And then as we kind of go through, it's like, look, everyone's got this, but everyone's also got all these great things that we're going to talk about, and everybody needs to understand that. But the flip side of this too, is especially for leaders, is you're going to find out a bunch of information about your team members, the people on your team, that you have to be really responsible about. And that's something that not everybody can do or do well. And it's like, you really have to coach leaders that, look, you're going to find out your achievers. So that's number 3, the achievers, who all they want to do is achieve. All they want to do is go out there and do the best, and they're the best, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to kill myself doing it. You can't take advantage of your achievers. You can't take advantage of your helpers, who are going to do everything to help you. They will kill themselves to help, because that's what they're trained. That's what their personalities.
Right.
All they want to do is help.
So is this something that that leaders, so through the transparency of the Enneagram, right, it kind of goes beyond just surface level, you're good at this, you're not so good at this. Is it a way for leaders to really kind of look at their current team structure and maybe reform a little bit to really balance out those teams a little bit? Can it be used in that way?
Absolutely. And yeah, they can reform and find out who, because some people, they don't realize that they're, an 8 and what their strengths really are. And then they can, repurpose their team members to put them where they really, truly shine, and some people they're trying to make a square peg fit in a round hole. And it's like, well, no wonder they're not succeeding, because they're being set up to fail. This is not where their strengths are. I can't expect my 8s who are, the challengers, like they're set to challenge. You can't expect them to go be quiet and sit in a chair and don't say anything, don't share your opinion. You cannot expect that. So, conversely, you would absolutely want to take the information that you get and set your team members up for success based on what you learn here. Or, take that information that you learn about the numbers and say, okay, well, look, I would really want to target, 2s, 3s, or whatever the numbers are to really form a really good fitting team together. But at the same time, this isn't, it's very scientific, yes, and there is a bunch of science behind it. There's complete science behind how this is, but this isn't a 100% end all be all. People are still people. They still have hearts. They still are human. You can't, I would never, let go of somebody because of the Enneagram at the same time. But I would definitely take this into account and try to serve my people better because of what I know about them.
Yeah. So it's more of an opportunity to create a dialogue of how to either help that person grow in their career, their professional development in terms of the workplace, but also create sort of those relationship connections between leadership and team members, or team members and other team members. So it's not a binary black and white, this is how this is how I will always do.
Right.
As you said, people are humans, and they may fluctuate based on those emotions. In that, is this a one and done? This is, now this is my roadmap for the rest of my life. Do you recommend, like, if you give this, when you deliver this to teams, for example, is there sort of, okay, here's the baseline, come back and evaluate later? And like, what's the intent behind kind of doing the Enneagram, and then, any sort of follow-up with that?
I would always say, it's always good for refreshers, and it's always good to see, where you're at in a certain time, because you may want to, take your team to the next level, right? So the team dynamics that you're going through now are going to be different in a year. You may have new people, and you may be having new challenges of within your team of what you're working on, and of course, doing product designs, or whether it's needing better retros, or whatever it may be. And those challenges are going to be very different in communications and things of that nature. So there's definitely always going to be something else that you can work on, and not necessarily within the Enneagram realm, but the communication is definitely going to be there. And then I also do, at my Agile background, I also do, work breakdowns and product design sessions with teams. We've done that several times, and then retrospectives on whatever it is that they're dealing with at that time. We've done those a couple of times as well with other groups. So there's always room for improvement, but definitely within the Enneagram space itself, I would say within a year or two, you may want to revisit, not because I don't think your numbers are going to change. That's my personal opinion. I don't think your numbers are going to change. I do think you may see your wings may fluctuate. So if you're if you're a 2, or if you're a 7, your wing may adjust.
Can you, real quickly for our audience, what's a wing?
Okay, so if there's on that circle, so you're a 1, there's a 1 to a 9, and the wing is your secondary number. So if you're a 1, people in the Enneagram space, traditionally people would say you're a 1, wing 2, which is obviously the next number. But you can also go back to a 9, a 1, wing 9. It's my personal opinion, and this is a personal opinion, that you can wing any number. So if you're a 1, you could wing 6 or wing 8.
Okay. So that's just sort of your secondary attributes, or is it secondary strengths, or just kind of just attribute? What's the proper sort of term to use that? You have your primary sort of system that you operate in. So the wing is really your secondary system in which you operate. Would that be one way of describing that?
Your personality just really pulls that number.
Okay.
Right? So, I believe that people that their secondary numbers can change, or that you can tend to gravitate towards a different secondary number based on because I believe people are always trying to improve, and if you're not, that's a personal choice. But in my experience, people are always trying to improve and make themselves better. So if that's the case, then you may change a number. And I don't think anyone's going to change their primary number. I've not seen that. I personally have not seen that. I'm not saying it can't happen. Anything, if this year has taught us anything, it is that anything can happen.
That's right.
But I believe that your wing numbers could change. And that would definitely fluctuate, your overall personality.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you talked about teams. Is this something you can deliver to just individuals? And does it have to be in person? Obviously, given
Oh,
COVID.
oh man, with COVID, I've had an amazing success doing virtual delivery with team groups. I've actually got one set up that I'm hoping to do relatively soon with a new group. But yeah, I've had amazing success delivering the team conferences, with the Enneagram.
Mhm.
So no, it's been a little bit slower, obviously, with COVID. People are a little bit hesitant because they're not sure what's going to happen day to day. But no, Enneagram, you can do it virtually. It's been no problem at all. It's obviously, it's great to have the cameras on because you can see everybody's um, faces. You can see their expressions,
Mhm.
and it makes it a little bit easier to have that dynamic. But no, it's been really good to still be able to deliver this. And yeah, you can do it individually or with a couple. If there's some friends or a married couple that would like to do that together as well, it's
Excellent.
been great.
Okay, very good. Well, obviously, this sounds like a very in-depth topic, and certainly more than we can cover during this podcast. So, where can people go find out more information about Enneagram, and if it's something that you deliver, where can they go find out more information?
Absolutely. So I have a website. It's called thejourneyofdiscovery.net. And you can find out more about me and what I do and what I offer. So again, that's thejourneyofdiscovery.net.
All
And
right.
you can
Yeah, no,
contact
that's
me.
perfect. Yeah, thank you. And we will certainly post that information out there online as well so that people will be able to get in touch with you. Aubrey, thank you so much. Definitely appreciate your time. It's good seeing you. I know we usually meet each other in the Agile meetups, but it's good seeing you again. And thank you for being a guest today.
Thanks so much for having me, Bruce.
All right. Thank you, everybody.